Hello, hello, blessings. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Sunday Night Alive with me. My name is Reverend Denise Schubert. I am the founder and director of A Life of Spiritual Power. I come to you every Sunday night so we can have conversations that uplift us, hopefully, that help to empower our week, to settle our weekend, and to give us something good to think about besides what we normally think about. So tonight our topic is It's All in Your Hands, and I'm excited about the inspiration that came to me this week for this, which I will share with you in a few moments. But for now, if you're here with me, please feel free to comment and say hello. I love seeing your names and seeing who's with me. I actually just love that somebody's with me. Otherwise, I'm here talking to myself, which is okay. I do that enough already. So, so let me speak a word. Let me just speak a word of blessing. The basic fundamental foundational idea for being here together is really that we have more power than we think we do in life, more ability to co-create our circumstances, that we are far more victorious and less victims than we believe that we are. And that is not because we are full of bravado or because we're so great, but it's because we're designed that way. And I'm going to talk about the design in a moment because I actually spoke at the Unity Church in Bonita Springs this morning, and we had a very good conversation about prototypes and about who we are as a spiritual prototype in the mind of God. So, but let me bless us first. Hi, Jan. Let me bless us first. Let me just simply invite all of us, whoever is within the sound of my voice, to take a moment to release your day, to release any tension in your body, to release any tension in your heart or your mind, to release anything you're worried about, either from the past or from the future, and to simply be in this completely perfect moment of now. I have this beautiful quote on my wall from T.S. Eliot that essentially says, "What in this moment is lacking?" And in this moment, not much is lacking. We are here together. We have food and shelter and people who care about us. And so let us lean into that as I bless our time together tonight. And so always we start by remembering that we are surrounded by an infinite intelligence and an unfathomable, awe-inducing beauty and order and harmony that we did not create, that we simply witness and celebrate and enjoy. And so some people call that power and that presence God. Some people call it spirit. Some people call it nature. Some people call it unconditional love. Some people call it, I don't know, magical, mysterious. I like God personally, but let's go with, as Ernest Holmes said, let's call it the infinite of you. And so it is in this environment of intelligence and beauty that we are connected to each other and to everyone everywhere. And so I bless our time together knowing that if we're here by divine appointment. If we're here with an open heart and an open mind so that something can shift, something can expand, something can grow, something can become different. Because it is in that truth that we can always be on the green growing edge of our own evolution. And so I bless tonight, call it good, trusting that the perfect people are here with me and letting that be as we move into our evening together. And so it is. Amen. So if you see me wriggling a little bit, it's because I have a pinched nerve in my shoulder blade and it's incredibly uncomfortable. So I'm wriggling a little bit, but it's not you. And I'm fine. It's happened before and I know how to cope with it. Little. Mm. So let's talk about let's talk about prototypes, because Ernest Holmes has this way of talking about spiritual prototypes saying, and essentially he's saying that there is in the mind of God, or in the mind of the universe, in the creative principle that created everything, there is a perfect prototype of everything. I shared this morning with the Unity in Bonita Springs, the my discovery of the Lombardy chameleon in Madagascar. And this, if you miss that, if you miss that stream, this this chameleon is very, very curious in that they all hatch. Hi, Suki. They all hatch. All of the adult Lombardi chameleons all lay their eggs at exactly the same moment. And they all hatch at exactly the same moment. So when the hatchling comes out of the egg, all of them, no matter, I mean, let's just pick a number. Let's say 1,000 hatchlings hatch today. All 1,000 of them have 5 months to find a mate and lay their eggs. Hi, Heather. 5 months. So for the next 5 months, all these little baby chameleons will mature and go in search of a mate, the love of their life, and they will then lay their own eggs. And the very moment that they lay their eggs, 5 months after they hatch, they all die at the same time. And they don't just die, they die in a blaze of glorious color. So this is a fantastical idea when you think about it, because it means that 1,000 chameleons are born at the same time, live at the same time, and die at the same time, and that their entire life purpose is to find a mate and lay their eggs. And once they've done that, their purpose is fulfilled, and they die in a blaze of glory. That when I first read about them, or actually learned about them on I think it was a National Geographic program, I was just baffled. It's like, why? It was such an interesting idea that nature could produce such an interesting life, like such a short life and an interesting life and a purposeful life. But it fits right into Ernest Holmes's idea about prototype, that every creature has a prototype. There's and a prototype means like a mental equivalent. So in the mind of God, or in the playbook of the universe, there is a prototype of a Lombardi chameleon. There's a prototype of a lion. There's a prototype of a hummingbird, right? And so even though not all hummingbirds are alike, right, there is this overarching idea of what a hummingbird is, and all of them adhere to this idea. And this is true, Ernest Holmes says this is true for human beings as well, that there is that we are already destined to be whatever it is that we are. And even though there are 8 billion of us, there are no two human beings alike. So even though there is an overarching prototype of what a human being is, within that, you and I are individuals. So, and so I don't know why this is important. Why is this important? Well, it is because uh, it's an identity. Remember, I think last week we were talking about mistaken identity, that you think that we're purely human, but the fact is that we're so much more than that, because there is already within us everything that's supposed to be within us for the expression of our lives. Now, unlike a Lombardi chameleon, you and I have the ability to put salt in the gas tank, or to throw nails under the tires, because we have free will and choice. So we can actually deviate from our destiny, which is not true for most creatures, right? Leopards will be leopards, chameleons will be chameleons. So our desire, my desire as a spiritual being, as a human being, is to lean more into God's idea about me than my idea about me, because my idea about me is not as helpful or as loving or as expansive or as possible as God's idea about me. So that's kind of where we started today. But I want to tell you, I heard my topic tonight, it's all in your hands because uh, we have so much, part of the prototype of us is that we are imbued with a creative power to think and to plan and to vision and to call forth and to declare and to announce and pronounce that we have the ability to co-create our lives in concert with the divine idea about who we are. And that is without limitation, actually. So within the idea of what it means to be human, we have unlimited possibilities. Now, does that mean we can does that mean we can create a pink elephant? Probably not. Does that mean we can avoid death? Probably not. But within the realm of what we can definitely create health. We can definitely create abundance. We can definitely create loving relationships. And most of the world is hungry for those things. Most of the world feels impoverished by not having enough of what those things are. So I want to talk about that tonight because it's all in your hands. It's like you have the power. So I want to tell the story. I didn't make it up, and I didn't. I actually heard it on Facebook from a colleague of mine, and I thought it was such a great demonstration and illustration of how of our relationship with life. So there was a man who was wandering, looking for a new village. He needed a new place to live, so he was wandering through, through the earth, through the desert, looking for a new village, and he comes across this village, and there's a very old man sitting outside the village on a rock, and he walks up to him, and the old man goes, "Hello, sir. Welcome, welcome. How can we help you?" And the gentleman goes, "Well, I'm looking for a new village, a new tribe to be with." And the old man goes, "Oh, well, tell me a little bit about your old village. Tell me about the village that you left." And he goes, "Oh, those people, it was a terrible, terrible village. Those people were so mean and so spiteful and so rude and so unhelpful. They were so, it was an awful place to live. It was an awful place to live." And so the old man looks at him and says, "Oh, well, I'm so sorry to hear that, but that's what you're going to find here. I'm so sorry. The people here are going to be just like that." So the gentleman thanked him and went along his way. A couple days later, another gentleman was walking towards the old man, and the old man perks up, and the guy stands in front of him. He goes, "Hi, welcome, welcome. Happy to meet you. Tell me, what can we do for you?" And the gentleman goes, "Well, I'm looking for a village. I'm looking for a new tribe, a place to live." And the old man goes, "Well, tell me a little bit about the village you left. What was it like there for you?" And the man goes, "Oh my God, it was so wonderful. The people were so warm and so friendly. There was collaboration and sharing. People took care of each other. It was a wonderful village." And the old man said, "Oh, you are in the right place. These people here will be exactly like that. Please come in. Welcome home." So I love I love this story, and it's very impactful because it speaks to the idea uh, that wherever you go, there you are. That it was reminds me of Butterworth's quote that I said last week, and I have it here for you. Who said, Eric Butterworth said, "You cannot get away from yourself no matter where you go. You are always environed by yourself, horizoned by your mentality, and encircled by your ideals." So, so when we're looking to grow spiritually, we have to uh, understand that there is no world out there that we can change or fix in order to make a better world for ourselves in here. Haven't you all tried? How many, raise your hands, I can see them. How many of you have tried to change the people in your lives so that you will have a better life, right? Make them kinder or make them less judgmental or make them more helpful? Or, I mean, how many of you have tried? And tell the truth now, how often did it work that these people actually changed in order to make your life better? It doesn't work uh, because the only thing, first of all, the only person that you can change is yourself. Change your thinking, change your life. If you want a different life, have a different thought. And the life is but a mirror to us, a reflection for us. So there are a few, well, the key, I'm going to say that the pathway to your freedom to have, do, and be what you want to have, do, and be in life, which, by the way, in its natural state for human beings is universal, not particular. So all human beings, it doesn't matter whether you're from Pakistan or from South Africa or from the United States or from Mexico. And my guess is even if you're from Mars or Venus, that all of us want to feel like we belong. We all want to have enough food. We want to have enough, we want to have a pleasant living experience, a roof over our heads. We want to do meaningful work and create creative self-expression. Everyone wants that. That's part of the prototype of being human. So we've been distorted into thinking that we need more than that, right? That we need people to comply. We need more money than we need. We need toys and cars. We need security. We need blah, blah, blah. We need $1 million in our 401 before we can retire. We need to retire. We are inundated with race consciousness and with thoughts. The thoughts of the ages, actually, we kind of inherit them when we come in, that lead us to think that what we have and what's possible and available will not be enough. So it leads to a lot of suffering. So from a practical standpoint, I would like to give you a few things to stop saying, because I'm going to tell you that the pathway to your ultimate freedom to have, do, and be your best self is by taking 100% responsibility for your life. 100%. For who you are and who you are not, for what you have and what you don't. It really is the only way that you will experience your God-given right to happiness and peace. So there are some words that I would give up, or some ways of thinking, because remember, thinking leads to effects, thinking leads to circumstances, thinking leads to your being. This village story is so fun because the old man is essentially recognizing in his wisdom that the man at the door is going to bring into the community what he's running from, because what he's running from is emanating from him, not from the community. So in the second case, where the man came looking for community, and he was musing how loving and supportive and kind and friendly and compassionate the people were in his old village, the old man understood that this man was going to bring that and actually contribute it to the community he was looking to live in. This is nonsensical because it does look and feel like there are uh, mean people in the world. So it feels like there are people in the world who are friendly, people in the world who are not friendly. But the question could be, is your world hostile or is your world friendly? It's the same question that Einstein asked, right? Do you live in a friendly universe or do you live in a hostile one? And the answer to that question has way more to do with you than to do with the world. I know it's incredibly hard truth really to wrap your arms around. So here's some words you can let go of, because these words represent your belief in your powerlessness. These words represent uh, your mistaken feeling or mistaken idea that somehow you can't be all that you can be because of external circumstances. And remember, it's all in your hands. So one of them is the word because. The fact is, we don't know why. There is no because. You cannot say, I would make more money, but I can't because. Or I'd sell my house, but it won't sell because. That we are not limited by external circumstances or what has been. We live in a field of unlimited possibilities. We live in a field of potentiality that it was Quimby who said, mind is matter in solution, and matter is mind in form. So you can create anything with your thoughts. You can create selling your house. You can create finding a mate. You can create finding a new job. So to assign cause to anything is it will it's limiting. It will create limitations in your life. Another similar one is if it weren't for fill in the blanks, I would fill in the blanks, or I could fill in the blanks. Not so. If it weren't for my parents, if it weren't for my parents divorcing when I was 10, I could find and keep a healthy relationship. Um, if it weren't for my high school sweetheart breaking my heart, if it weren't for that person stealing my money, if it weren't for, do you understand what I'm saying? Are you catching my drift? So if it weren't for, eh, uh, we're not denying facts here. The fact is, your parents might have gotten divorced and it might have been quite challenging, but if you're using it as a reason to limit your life, right, to put a cap on what's possible for you, is foolishness given your who you are, given who you are, given how you were built, given what you were designed to do and to have and to be. Another one, the final one is if only. If only you could finish your college education, you can get a better job. Do you know how many people have really great jobs who never went to college? And do you know how many people went to college who can't find a good job? We make these correlations in our mind based on what we've been taught and told, uh, what our parents believed, what our grandparents believed, what our culture believes. I mean, uh, there are erroneous thoughts. Women have erroneous thoughts about what it means to be a woman. Uh, Americans have erroneous thought about what it means to be Americans. None of this is true in the mind of God. All of this is human chatter that we inherited or made up along the way that does not serve to allow us to transcend the suffering that human beings suffer. And human beings do suffer, as as not necessary as it is that we suffer. Like there's no mandate for suffering from the universe. That there's no God in my world who says, I'll love you more if you suffer. I'll really love you a lot if you suffer a lot. That there is no mandate for that. Now, we do not deny that suffering takes place, and there is deep suffering in the world. I was sharing this morning that most of us, in my world anyway, in my circles, with my friends and my colleagues, my family, our suffering is pretty much first world suffering. Like I ran out of creamer for my coffee this morning, or I don't get to go to that party tomorrow night because I caught a cold, or whatever it might be. We do have suffering here, and some of us do have deeper suffering than that. But there is deep suffering in the world, hunger and war and all. I mean, unimaginable human suffering that has been going on really since the beginning of the human story. But it's because it's because we're just now beginning to grasp that we have choice, and that we can individually, you and I can, and I implore that you do, uh, begin to change the way that you think, to have a new thought. replace your doubt and your lack of faith and your worry and your deeply held beliefs and opinions with a new idea, because that new idea will be freedom for you. It will allow you to, um, it's the right way to word this, it will allow you to receive good. Because to the degree that you have reasons, I think it was Werner Erhard who said, you either have results or all the reasons you don't, or all the reasons you don't. You either have results or all the reasons you don't. And that sounds very harsh, but in reality, if you can embrace it without, I mean, it would be easy to repudiate that idea because then it makes us feel like failures. But there's no failure in this. There's no there's no blame. There's simply an awareness that you are a spiritual being right now. You don't need to read one more book. You don't need to go to one more church session on Sunday mornings, though we go to church for different reasons. But you don't need to do anything to get holy. You are already holy. You're already spiritual. You know, the elephant is as much as an elephant she'll ever be from birth till death. She can't do anything to become a better elephant or more of an elephant, right? The Lombardy chameleon can't do anything to live 20 years instead of 5 months. There is a prototype, there is a pattern in the heart of the universe of what it means to be a human being. And what it means to be a human being is you are imbued with the greatest love you can ever know inside of you, and you are imbued with the power, real power, like magical power, mystical power, to use your mind, your conscious mind, to create circumstances and conditions that please you, that benefit you and the whole world. That's how we're built. It's just the way that we are. So, so the pathway to your freedom is by taking 100% responsibility for your life. Now, this is not easy. I say this like, well, Denise, you could say, Denise, if you only knew what my parents did to me, if you only knew how they were and what they did. I know, I know, I know. If you only knew the terrible circumstances I grew up in around so much, I know, I do. But without negating that those things happen to you, can you let them be? If you can let them be, then they can let you be. And in the letting you be, then you are free to have more, to accept more, because our unforgiveness, our unwillingness to release the past keeps us stuck in patterns that will stay with us until the day we decide to leave these bodies. Now, the good news is that you are spiritual now, and as such, there really is no death. There's more like we appear. I appeared on August 7th, 1951. I'm going to disappear at some future date that I know not what it is. And how I use this dash in between these two dates is really all that really matters. And most of us use them in unproductive ways that do not contribute to the whole, nor make us particularly happy, whole, and free. So it's all in your hands. You can today decide, and you don't have to know how, by the way. How is not for us to figure out. The universe knows how to give you what you want. You just need to do the what. You need to define it. This is not as hard as it sounds. I am committed to being happier tomorrow than I am today. And I am willing to have a new idea in order for that to happen. That's how simple it is. And you have to believe it. Jesus said, it is done unto you as you believe. The Buddha said, uh, the world arises with your thoughts. So you have to bring a little bit of will and a little bit of forcefulness into your declarations and your acceptance of the good in your life. But for you to know that it's possible, you change your mind, you change your world. Enough of us change our minds, the world will be changed. That's kind of the science of spirituality that nobody ever taught us. But I'm going to talk about it week after week after week until I disappear. So, so please take that to heart tonight. There is something within you. There is something. This is Ernest Holmes, a quote from this thing called You. There is something within you beyond all doubt and fear, something which has never been limited by your acts or destroyed by your feelings. Something, something, something within you. I would call it, we can call it anything. Call it the spirit of you, the God within, the Christ presence, the prototype of human in the mind and the heart of God, but something within you that has not been touched for a moment. Browning said you can desecrate but never destroy the divine spark within the human being. So Ernest Holmes said, this is the only something that can make you whole. The only something that can transcend the human journey of struggle into the spiritual journey of exaltation. So I invite you into that this week. So just let it mull over in your consciousness. Allow yourself to continue to be guided and to be led into a new way of being and a new way of thinking. It's nonsense when people say that people cannot change. We can and we do change. You can and you will change. And if you're perfect already and having a full free life, forget everything I just said and keep doing what you're doing. All right, so that's a message for tonight. That's a message for tonight. It's all in your hands. So, so if you're new to me, I have a website, and on that website you can go and you can sign up for my written blogs. I haven't done one for a while, but I'm getting ready to go back to South Africa for really from October to April, though I'll be back in the country for a month in January. But I'll be continue to stream live from South Africa. But if you want to be part of the written blog and stay on my mailing list, you can do that on my website. You can also see some beautiful African photographs, which I might be, I don't know, I'm contemplating making some of those available to you. I'll let you know next week. You can also connect if you want to do a spiritual life coaching session, or if you would like to support my ministry financially, which I adore. You can also do that through the website or through PayPal, Zelle, or Venmo at revdschubert@gmail.com. So I'm going to pray us out. As I blessed us as we came in, I'm also going to bless us as we go out. So I would, as we move into prayer, why don't you see if there's some area of your life that you would like to experience a freer, fuller expression, whether that be financial or relationship or creative self-expression. Do you need a new job? Are you having a health challenge? See if there's some area that you feel stuck that could be released by a new idea, released by opening, and then offer it up to the prayer, right? So because the prayer kind of prayer that we do is not begging and beseeching a reluctant deity to do something for you that you cannot do for yourself, because anything that you could possibly want or need is available. It's a matter of letting it in, a matter of removing the obstacles to it. So let's use the prayer to remove any obstacles that might be in your way. And I trust that you will release because if only, and because, what was it? Because if only, oh, and if it weren't for, yeah. So All right, so join with me, turn within with me. Turning within simply means to let those circumstances be right where they are, to stop fussing with them, to stop ruminating over them, to stop complaining about them, to stop focusing your attention on what isn't working, to simply come into the present moment, to open your spiritual eyes, to gaze into your inner being, right? The within, the great within, and to start at the beginning, which is to recognize that we did not create ourselves, that we did not create the world, we did not create the spiritual laws and principles any more than we created the physical ones, that we merely discover them and use them. And so I call this power and this presence God or life or universal intelligence, and that it is real and it is living itself and expressing itself through your being exactly the same as every flower, every sunset, every elephant, and every Lombardy chameleon. That we all belong to the universe. We all have a right and a reason to be here. There is a reason, a purpose for every single thing. And so I know that it is because there is no spot where God is not, that God is right where you are and right where I am, and that there is not 8 billion gods. There's only one power and one presence. And it is that in me and that in you, and that is that which connects us to all beings and all substance everywhere. So it is from that place that I can speak my word for and about you and I and all of us, because the job you are seeking is seeking you. You are connected to that job already. That person you are looking for, that special person is already connected to you. The health you want is already within your cells. The money you want is already in your bank account. It's already there. And so the word I'm speaking is to repudiate anything within us that would block, hinder, or obstruct our good from arriving. We just move it out of the way. It's like we stand where we are and we move those mountains with our faith and belief. So I am grateful. I'm grateful to know that this is possible. I'm grateful to know that we are not victims of circumstances in any way, that we have the great honor, privilege, and responsibility to use the power of our minds, the power of our brains and our will, all spiritual attributes to actually call forth a world that works for not only us, but for everyone. And so with that, I just release this word in complete faith that it's even now moving molecules around. It's even now clothing the words I've spoken with flesh, that you can leave this time now knowing that your deepest desires, longings, yearnings are being brought forward by a universe that always says yes. So get your no out of the way and let the universe's yes take over, and you will be amazed at what the good and the mystical and miraculous things that can happen in your life. And so join me in this by accepting the prayer for yourself, by closing our time together by saying, and so it is. Amen, amen, amen. All right. Well, happy September 15th to you all. Thank you for joining me on this glorious Sunday night. Have a wonderful, wonderful week. I will either see you down the road this week or I will see you next Sunday night on Sunday Night Alive. Peace and blessings to you.